Okay, let's get started. In this video, I'm going to share with you an event that happened to me the other night with my Edge HD 8 telescope, which is on a pier at StarFront Observatories in Rockwood, Texas. Hi, I'm Bill, and welcome to the Astro Vagabond channel. So, it was really a first for me, and this is where it started. I was soundly sleeping in my bed, having a good night. Both scopes were running. And I got this notice here at 1:17 a.m. Now, when I'm showing you timestamps, uh, the pushover notifications will reflect the time of when they arrive to my phone, and I am in the Pacific time zone. So S- Starfront is 2 hours ahead of me in the Central time zone. So anyway, I get this message. Autofocus after first time, failed after 0 attempts. I have a really a siren sound that goes off, woke me up out of bed, probably woke my wife up as well. Um, I wasn't sleeping on my Astro cot that I normally have out here at night. Anyway, and then I got a second one. So I don't know if you've been there before, but you're in dead sleep and then you get woken up. And so you go to wherever you go. For me, I went to my laptops, each laptop running um an RDP session to each of my mini computers there. And so, anyway, you're trying to figure out what's going on and everything. Now, I had checked let me see if we can get this next one here. I had checked the weather, and this is the weather for upcoming Thursday. But the key thing is I use Astropheric, and what happens along the course of the night, your temperatures often drop, and then there gets to a point where they start to converge with where the dew point is. That's an indication that there's could be a lot of moisture in the air and everything. And having done most of my imaging in the Southern California deserts over the past 4 years, I really never had to deal with a lot of moisture in the air um, when it was a clear night. Normally, I can count on going through the night without any dew or anything like that. So I just want to show you what I found out, what I saw. And so if we go here, this is, let me just move a couple things around here and give me a second. I want to get up some files that I haven't picked Insight. Um, so here is an autofocus curve on that night. It was 1:28 a.m. At the time, and this is looking good. And what you'll see here is that I have several conditions on when I want to do an autofocus. One is a timed one every hour at a minimum. Um, if you look up in this corner here, you'll see elapsed time of every 60 minutes to do an autofocus. I also have a delta on temperature change of 2 degrees Celsius. And then there's also one for HFR trend. So how's the HFR trending? Uh, and if it pushes 5%, then I want to do another autofocus. So if we kind of go and we kind of look here, so that was 128. Where was that one there? 128. And then at 2 o'clock, um, autofocus curve still looking good, not bad, acceptable to me. And then we come into the next one. This is at 3:44, and then I get this. So again, because there's a 2 hour time difference, when I got the alert at 1:29, the pushover alert, and so then I see this here. And for a minute, it kind of stumped me. The roofs were still open, so Normally, if there's a lot of moisture in the air, um, they'll close the roof. I forget what the parameter difference is for difference in dew point. So, I see this, I go, wow, that doesn't look good. And then I run another one. So I'm trying to troubleshoot. I did look. So I've captured a bunch of, I've loaded a bunch of sub exposures in Blink. And so here we're looking at around 56 minutes. So 12:56 a.m. And here is the blue filter. And so to me, this was looking good. And then we're going to advance a little bit to maybe, where is this? 1:29 a.m. That was around the time of the one autofocus I showed. Uh, Still looking pretty good. We'll come down and take another blue. This is, what about 2:05? And I'm seeing a little bit of difference. And now we're starting to see the degradation in the image. And then we come down here to 2:52 a.m. And then we see a lot of degradation. And then what happens, let's go back into here. At around 1:58 a.m., I get the end of night sequence has started for my Red Cat 51. And the reason the shutdown sequence started is because they were closing the roof. So I just really hadn't had to deal with this before. It was an interesting event. It's one of those things where you're sleeping soundly, you get woken up. I really never had to troubleshoot moisture in the air. Um, StarFront has some parameters again that, based upon several factors related to weather, uh, humidity, moisture in the air is one of them. And so, uh, while I was troubleshooting a little while, then I started seeing the shutdown sequence happen, and the roof closed. And then that let me understand, between the degradation in my images and then the roof closing, that there was probably being closed because of moisture, which they have done before. So that's one of the things about um, imaging out of a remote observatory that's managed by uh, the company that's hosting your gear. I have complete confidence in Starfront that their decisions to open and close um, are going to be based upon what's best for their customers. Um, so I trust their judgment. Um, their algorithm said it's time to close the roof. They closed the roof. But it was just kind of funny. I really hadn't had to be woken up from a dead sleep and try to figure out what was going on in a while, uh, ever related to moisture in the air. But as you can see, um, clearly, moisture can really degrade your images. Effects you're seeing. I didn't take the time to dig into the guiding metrics. I'm sure my guiding was probably really challenged. Um, and I think I did take a look at that when I was troubleshooting, but I can't remember exactly. I should probably keep a little notebook, which I do have a notebook, and write these kind of things down. But yeah, moisture can definitely degrade the quality of your images. And I don't know if that's transparency and seeing, a little bit of both, that was degraded. But anyway, I just thought I'd share. And I know that I'm going to have to deal with this more in the future. But the bottom line is, what I'm comfortable with is, when there's that much moisture in your air, that moisture collects on your mini computers and those type of things. So I have a lot of confidence in StarFront that they're going to take the right decisions, and they're going to close those roofs to the benefit of all customers, even though some imagers might grumble a little bit, possibly because they want to continue imaging. Really, the team at Starfront is looking out for their total customer base and exercising their experience and judgment uh, on when to close roofs. And I'm totally happy with that. And if you happen to go into a remote observatory environment, uh, that's something you would want to check out with who's ever going to be hosting your equipment. What are their parameters for opening and closing roofs? So you know in advance, you have the right expectations set to so you won't be disappointed, and maybe you'll check your weather a little bit more closely and understand if it's going to be a night where dew can be a problem, moisture in the air can be a problem, so you're not disappointed. Um, the key to customer service, the key to not um, being disappointed, is making sure you have your expectations set properly. All right. Well, if you like this kind of content, please give it a thumbs up. I have a video coming up. It's yet to be recorded, but I made contact with another imager at StarFront Observatories, and StarFront now hosts sea stars. So this imager has a sea star down at Starfront, and when he gets back from a trip he has to take, we're going to sit down and we're going to do an Astro Chatter podcast together. He's going to talk a little bit about his story, his experience, and share some of the images. And I think it's a really great that Starfront is open to the Sea Star and has provided, is making some infrastructure available for people with sea stars to host them out of Starfront Observatory. So you might want to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so when that video comes out, you will be made aware of it. And I also have a general request out to other customers at Starfront, asking if they'd be interested in sharing their story, talking a little bit about their equipment that they have there. How did they wind up going into Starfront? How has being in a remote observatory maybe changed their astrophotography results? Tips that they might have for people thinking about going into a remote observatory that's managed by others, and those type of things. So I'm hoping to get several of those interviews lined up and recorded and share with you. That's really exciting for me, something I've wanted to do for a while. So, all right, thanks again for dropping into the channel and subscribing. Other than that, hopefully you'll have clear skies. See you next time.